星の命、ライフストリーム。あらゆる記憶、知識、感情を乗せ巡り巡る。時に交わり、時に離れ、見たことのない物語を映し出す。それもまた星が宿すもう一つの可能性。
Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis is a role-playing mobile gacha game developed by Applibit and published by Square Enix, with Shoichi Ichikawa serving as producer, Kazushige Nojima as scenario writer, Yoshinori Kitase serving as executive producer, and Tetsuya Nomura serving as creative director. The compilation originally only had 4 official titles and concluded with Crisis Core in 2007. Beginning with the 2020 release of the remake, Kitase relaunched the compilation and put many spin-off projects, including Ever Crisis, into production. The latest beta test for Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis ended on July 13. Since then, a ton of new content has appeared, showcasing the battle system, limit breaks, the story, and much more. You can check out the Broadway Salience channel links in the description for a taste of what you can expect on the game's release. Ever Crisis retells events from the 1997 video game Final Fantasy VII, and all canon titles in the compilation of Final Fantasy VII media franchise, the film Advent Children, and the video games Before Crisis, Crisis Core, and Dirge of Cerberus, which are planned to be released in monthly episodic installments. Nomura described Ever Crisis as an alternate remake of Final Fantasy VII. In addition to remaking the original storylines, original scenario writer Kazushige Nojima incorporated new material, including the backstory of Final Fantasy VII The First Soldier, and stories from the childhoods of various FF7 game characters. The game will be free to play, but it will also have loot boxes that contain random varieties of armor and weapons. Chapters can be freely chosen from a timeline, allowing players to hop between different entries in the series. Square Enix has released a few trailers that show the combat is similar to the action combat seen in the remake. It's not yet known if there is a turn-based option to make the game more faithful to the original. The game's monetization structure hinges around weapon unlocks, and you can expect to see plenty of content that didn't appear in the original game, such as special weapons with their own costume sets. The battle system is a hybrid of the original Final Fantasy VII and the remake. It's turn-based, but both your team and the enemies will auto-attack over time. There's also an ATB bar where your abilities and spells require a certain number of segments to use. Finally, there's an auto-battle button that allows players to step away while grinding for materials and other items. The system is simple, but the new sigil and shift features provide a new degree of complexity to constructing your group and approaching each battle. Some foes will prepare a devastating attack while the battle continues. Certain talents will have a sigil written on its select tile, and after using it enough times and marking the sigil to 0, the monster will be staggered, allowing the party time to launch an all-out assault. The shift system is simple, but it can be vital to successful battles. Being in the attack shift does more damage and adds more sigils to an attack, while being in the defense shift deals less damage but takes less damage, and healing is more effective. Weapons are earned using a gacha system in Ever Crisis, where players can draw for a chance to pull each weapon. Each character has a main weapon and a sub-weapon that are unique to them, as well as 3 sub-equipment weapons that can be used by any character. In addition to base stats, weapons have 1 core ability and 2 reinforcement abilities. A core ability is the unique ability assigned to that weapon, while reinforcement abilities provide secondary passives to a character. Both weapons' reinforcing powers are equipped on the character, but the level of each ability is strongly influenced by whether it is a main or sub-weapon. Each reinforcement ability is assigned a set number of points that determines its level, and equipping a weapon as a sub-weapon or sub-equipment weapon halves the reinforcement points. Additionally, support materials can further enhance stats and indicate which sigil the weapon can deal bonus damage to. Aside from that, the game features special dungeons to explore and battles to participate in that go beyond what was featured in Final Fantasy VII. It sounds like a fairly novel reimagining, similar to Final Fantasy VII Remake, though it's good to hear that Ever Crisis still uses familiar musical arrangements from the original title. Square Enix described the graphics as a nostalgic visual twist on the super deformed or chibi graphical style of Final Fantasy VII. Nomura wanted the character portraits to be 3D rendered moving portraits, but technical constraints forced the team to use 2D artwork. These portraits and other character artwork were created by Lisa Fujise. Voice acting is currently under consideration, with the mobile platform's technical limitations needing to be taken into account. Nomura also stated that the games differ greatly in terms of technology, style, and mechanics, and that this title will allow the games to be presented in a united package. The soundtrack will also contain new arrangements, and it will be the Western debut of Before Crisis, which was previously exclusive to Japan. Square Enix hasn't said whether the game will be released on other platforms other than iOS and Android, but I think it would be a wonderful fit for all modern consoles, including the Nintendo Switch. Hopefully, it will land there in the near future. Ever Crisis was supposed to be released globally, excluding mainland China, beginning with a closed beta version in 2022, but it was eventually pushed back to summer 2023. Square Enix has officially announced that Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis will be released on September 7, 2023. You can pre-register now on the official website, Google Play, or the App Store. If you enjoy this video, please consider subscribing. Thank you so much for watching.